Just because we can don't mean that we should. We all have a free choice in this life. God have given us the power of choice. And we can choose to do whatever we want to with that choice that he have given us. But just because you can doesn't mean that you should. Too many times we take advantage of our choice. And our choice has a negative effect on our lives and the lives of others. Even though we have the power of choice, our choices has consequences. And if we choose the wrong thing to do, there is always a penalty for it. Even if we don't have to pay the piper on this time side of life. When we stand before the judgment seat of God, we will have to give an account for the deeds that have been done in this body. So we can choose what we want to choose. We can do whatever we feel that we're grown enough and we're big enough and we're fortunate enough to do. But we will have to give an account for the deeds that have been done in this body. So when we begin to do things and say things and go places and harm other people and say all types of bad things about people, to use our tongue, which is a weapon, which is a powerful weapon, we're going to have to give an account for that one day. And like I said, we might not have to give an account on this time side of life, but we will have to stand before God to give an account for the deeds that have been done in this body one day. So just because you can doesn't mean that you should. Just because you can do something and you can get away with it doesn't mean that you should. Just because you can do something and you can pay out money to get yourself out of trouble because you're fortunate enough to have the funds that you need on this time side of life. You have the funds to get you, yourself, your loved ones, and those in whom you love if they're ever encountered with trouble in this life. You have the means to fund, you know those people. So you can get yourself and those in whom you love out of trouble because of who you know on this earth. But no matter who we know on this earth who is willing to put up the money or do whatever they need to do to get us out of the consequences in this life or this time side of life, doesn't mean that we will escape the judgment of God, because we will have to stand before him one day to give an account for the deeds that have been done in this body. And I know that there are many, many, many people who do not believe in God, especially in this day and time in which we live in. But at the end of this thing called life, one of us is going to be wrong. Either you're going to be wrong or I'm going to be wrong. But I'm willing to take that chance. Just because you can doesn't mean that you should. Just because I can get in my car because I have a car and drive my car and I don't have any insurance, which I do, but I'm just making a statement here. Just because I can get in my vehicle and I can drive that vehicle knowing full well that I don't have any insurance on that vehicle, knowing full well that my license have been revoked, but I can go and just get in my car and I can drive my car and an accident take place. There is a repercussion for that. There is a consequence that goes and come along with us being disobedient just because we can. Just because you can eat that ice cream, because you're grown enough to eat that ice cream, you can eat all that stuff that you know that the doctor told you that you should no longer eat, consume. And should you do it, it need to be in strict moderation. But just because you feel as though you're grown enough to do it, you proceed to do what you feel like you're grown enough to do. Now your health begin to decline because you made the decision to eat whatever you want to eat when you wanted to eat it. No matter what they say, I'm grown, this is my life, I'm gonna do me. Just because that teenager feel as though I'm 18 years old now, I can do whatever I want to. because the state in which I live in, it says now I'm an adult. So now they go out and they do things that they should not do. Now when it is time to pay the piper, now they want to still be put in a category where they still are teenager or youth. Just because we can doesn't mean that we should. And we need to be wise when we make decisions that could come back to bite us one day. And all of us have made decisions where we have had to suffer the penalty of not doing what we were supposed to do. I know I have. And just because I could, I did. And then came the consequences of life. Because for every action, there is a reaction. And when we do things, there is always a consequence. Be it a good consequence or a bad consequence. For whatever we do, we will have a penalty for it. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So let us do right by each other. Let us take care of ourselves. Let us not do things just because we can. And then when the penalty comes, we don't know why this is taking place. It's taking place because you had a free choice. And you used that free choice to do whatever you wanted to do. Now it is time for you to pay the penalty for that. So be wise with your choice. Be wise in doing what you do, because there is always an action for every reaction. Take care and be blessed. This is my moment. This has been a chosen moment. Be blessed. Like, comment, and subscribe. Take care.